I'm Tim Dunn. Now, that's the train going back into the lower. Now, I would like to introduce two very special guests. Thank you very much indeed, Matt, for that. If you'd like to bring two people forward from the train, I think we've actually got one person who's come an awful long way and someone who's come not quite as far, but still a decent way. Chaps, you want to come forward? Nick and Max are coming. Now, you might well know Nick and Max. In fact, Max has got the first microphones. Come on, up you go.
Oh my.
Oh my, it's you first. I'm going to put you two on this side here,
sure.
If that's all right. Thank you very much, Lee, for joining us. Thank you very much. Now, thank you, chaps. It's a pleasure for me to have you here. Thank you very much indeed. Now, you go better known in some circles, not as Max and as Nick, but actually as what?
I'm the unlucky tug.
I mean, we all know this by now.
Okay.
The unlucky tug. And you are?
I'm Terrier 55 Stepney, but not the actual engine. Just stolen the name.
You thieving sod. You thieving sod. And you've taken it from the unlucky tug. Tell me, first of all, why Terrier 55 Stepney? Why did you choose that name?
Right, well, I know we're on the Talisman, but
yes.
I really love Stepney. I love the Blue Railway. It's one of the real engines in the books. And I don't know. Nice little tank engine, bright colours, always happy in the books and in the show. Love Stepney.
Yeah.
So.
Lovely. Well, Nick, and I have to take my question. Try question bounce because it's quite low volume.
Oh, yes.
Why on earth have you chosen the name The Unlucky Tug?
So, see, I've got this question a lot.
That's my first question.
So, when I first made my YouTube account, way back in the day, I had a first one originally in like 2007 or so. I called it The Unlucky Tug, or just Unlucky Tug, because of a show called Tugs that I really liked. And there was a book called The Unlucky Tug, and that name just stuck with me, so that's just what I called it. Now, then I got known as it, so I just never changed it.
I remember Tugs as being a follow-on series from Thomas the Tank Engine. If I remember rightly, was it Brittlecroft, that kind of stuff? Was it that era? Same kind of model to my memory.
Yeah. Same team involved, not Brittlecroft specifically, but David Mitt and all those guys.
I do remember seeing, again, early on in Tugs, as it was, I remember seeing an engine on a viaduct, sort of over the top of the canal basin or something. I think this is like Thomas the Tank Engine. Where's this come from? Looking very similar kind of styles, but that's obviously it hasn't continued. But I think the models exist, right? Still for Tugs, some of the models.
Yes, yeah, they do, or most of them anyway.
Most of them do, yeah.
Lovely. Now, look, you two have come a long way today. You come a very long way, and you come not quite so far. Where have you come from today?
I've come down from Paul in the south of England and near Bournemouth in Dorset, so quite a trek, but it's worth it. So, but that doesn't compare much. So.
Well, Max, I mean, you came here by train, I'm imagining, or by car?
A bit of both. I got the train and then met my friends who drove the rest of the way. So
a hybrid journey.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas you couldn't get the train from where you came from today.
No, I couldn't have done that.
So where did you come from?
I currently live in Washington State in Pacific Northwest.
But that's what I love about this, right? Your sort of, I suppose, friendship online, and I guess as well, the fact you're both here as well today, with everyone who's come so very far, actually, it shows a little bit why Sir Thomas is so popular, right? And the whole Sodor has this international appeal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you must have got people you know throughout Sodor fans and the fandom from all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met so many people just from the Thomas fandom all over the world. I have friends on the East Coast. I have friends here in England. I have friends over in Europe. Yeah. Like it's crazy how connected Thomas has made people in this world.
But I think of, I suppose, Thomas and Sodor as being a very British thing, right? And so I'm always surprised, even at my grand old age of 41, that people overseas love Sodor and have this love for Thomas and railway series as well, books. I'm always surprised because I'm like, how do you guys know about it? Like, was it big in the States? Why is there such a big following in the States for it?
I mean, it was big in the States. I think it was big because it was very, very different than anything else that kids could get at the time. It was like early 90s was when it started picking up there. When I think of kid shows, then I think of flashy cartoons, stuff with trying to grab the kids' attention and be very fast-paced, And Thomas is this more slower, very realistic, like a escapist kind of world with these bright, colorful characters, very easy to remember. I see why kids loved it. I fell in love with it instantaneously. I think that's really what it is.
It's kind of a logical world, right? It reflects reality a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the thing. It's like,
Shut up a little bit, it's quite noisy.
did feel a bit cold, thank you. Yeah. No, there's so much to it. It's sort of like Lord of the Rings, but not as well appreciated, because
Yes.
you can start off liking just, Thomas and the trains and collect all the toys and things, and then you grow up and, Audrey did this on purpose. You get to learn more about the railways, and then eventually, if you've made friends through that, you start talking about all things. It's not just Thomas, it's all the books. It's a gateway. So
It's a gateway drug, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Gateway's
Can't
a
say it.
fantastic word for it. Yes, absolutely.
So you say, how did you guys get hooked into it then? So how did you start with it? What was your gateway into it?
So my earliest memory was, Thomas was in the U.S. on a variety show called Shining Time Station. That aired when I was just a baby. My mom said I would always cry whenever she was trying to feed me. The only show that shut me up was Shining Time Station. Whenever Thomas came on the screen, suddenly I went quiet, and my eyes were just glued to it, and I've just been obsessed with it ever since.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
really? But how about yours on, Max? How did you start with it?
Well, I've got an older brother, and he was into Thomas, and my parents bought him all the toys already. So I can officially say I have been a Thomas fan all of my life. I just took it over. So it's great.
You were born into it, and you can blame your parents.
Yeah, I didn't get a choice, but it's worked out okay. So yeah.
I mean, it's fair to say, you must be happy with your life choices right now, being on this train, right?
This couldn't be any better than this. With loads of friends and everything, and everyone's smiling. Going behind a historic steam engine, and it can't be any better. This is good. Yeah, I'm happy.
You mentioned as well how it's a gateway, right? And there's a whole extra world behind it.
Yeah.
And that's something that you do in your social media very well. You shine a different light, I think, into some of the stories behind the stories, as it were, and some of the detail behind it as well. Right?
Yes, because as he put it, it's like Lord of the Rings, but just not as appreciated. There's so much intricacies to both Audrey's writings and also the TV series and how it was made. They're just kind of, I think people just sort of look over. It's not really appreciated now, but I like shedding light on that stuff. People love hearing about that, and they start falling in love with the show again. Yeah, it's gateway drug. It's a good way to put it, because you watch one guy make a video about the lore of something, and suddenly you get sucked into it.
I'll tell you, there's one that we did last year for the rather rushed, shall we say, Audrey lecture last year, where we went, okay, we have to show an engine, which was, I think it was a very old locomotive, and we had to show it at, it was a what was it called? It was an LNWR spinner locomotive.
Oh, okay.
And so, do you remember this for the lecture? Yeah. And I was like, how do we show a face for this engine? Whose face do we use? And so, where do we find this? So we used Eileen Gibbs, Sammy the Shunter's very old engine.
Oh.
And we transposed it from that, because of course it ties in with the law. A separate railway from the Northwest Railway, it's a different railway, something across the border. It felt it was about right. It was about how do you stitch this whole world together without interrupting the space-time continuum?
Right.
How do you create something without upsetting it elsewhere?
Right.
Now, what is it about it today that you still love?
That's a long list. It's just this is like the closest you'll get to going to Sodor, and everyone dreams, oh, I wish I could go there. I wish the characters were real and everything. They are. Audrey very much made them to be real. They encouraged in every book to go and visit the Taliesin Railway and all others. So, I don't know, it's a bit of an escapism. It's living in a storybook world just for a little bit and knowing it's there when you're back in your normal life. So, yeah.
Lovely thing. What about for you?
I think as I get older, what I appreciate mostly about Audrey's work is, one, learning about the inspirations behind a lot of the stories, and then it makes me look at those stories in a whole new way, or little references that he throws in, it's hidden in the subtext or mentioned in some lore book, and you're like, oh, now I look at all that a whole different way, and it's like an ongoing puzzle that you keep trying to put together.
That's it, right? It's a puzzle. It's almost like, here's a great big joke, and you've been let into that joke, and he's giving you throwing for references. It's like a little treasure hunt. There's no end to it. There never will be an end, right? It's part of that lore, what you said, that story. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now tell me, we say we're here, and I'm 41, you're both a lot younger than that, but what do you say to people who say, it's all for kids, that stuff, it's all for kids? Why is it that adults are still drawn to it?
I think adults are drawn to it because this wasn't something that was made with the intention of, well, we have to make some like marketable products that kids will love. Like, I think, like, not to throw shade on anything, but like, you know, like the Minions or something, you know. Thomas came from a place that it was a place of inspiration. Audrey loved trains. He loved history of railways, and he just like put all that love into this one big thing, and he just ran with it and
carried on.
And I think adults appreciate that. They appreciate the wholeness of it.
Now, Max, you and I love the modelling side of things particularly as well, and I've been told that you've been famed some of your models. I've been told that you made a model of Ponton Pandy fire station from matchsticks and lollipop sticks, but such as your modelling skill. Thank you. What is your next modelling project?
Next modelling project. That, again, a very long list, but we'll get around to it, finishing someday. I'm currently making a load of models from engines at the Bluebell Railway because I've been making some stop motion animations for them to use on like social media and things like that. We recently just celebrated one of their engines' 150th birthday. Fenchurch. Yes, exactly. We're wearing a Terrier 150 badge. It's a big anniversary this year, so.
Like Stepney, for example.
Like Stepney, yes. It all ties together.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Funny that, isn't it? How strange.
Yeah. It all happens here. So, yeah. No, that's what I'm working on next. Just always trains somewhere, or boats, or any sort of transport. But yeah.
Always trains. What are you working on at the moment and next?
When it comes to modeling?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess in everything. Modeling, I mean, my ultimate vision is to make a layout that kind of recreates Audrey's vision of Sodor. Of course, I don't have the space or resources to do that at the moment, but...
How big is the baseboard for this?
I mean, we have to make some compromises, obviously. But in terms of that, I mean, it's kind of is where it is at the moment. In terms of videos, though, which...
Your TikTok videos, I mean, your content
YouTube.
Is, yeah.
It always kind of comes and goes with me in terms of what I do next. It really is just kind of what am I inspired by right now. I tell you, as soon as I get home from this, I'm probably going to be doing something involving narrow gauge engines.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. I wonder why. Yeah. Yeah, really, it comes to what I'm inspired by at the moment. If like I watch, season 3, that seems great. I'm going to do the retrospective on season 3 now or something like that. Yeah.
Can I just interrupt you here? Of course, this little place here is, of course, part of Titfield Thunderbolts, which, of course, is I think we're a place for Titfield Thunderbolt, the film, of course, is inspired by Italian as well. And that big anniversary is next year. So isn't it funny? This little railway line we're here now inspired so much. It inspired not just Tallis Lynn, it inspired Titfield Thunderbolt, Railway Heart of Gold, all sorts of things, right? And so how do you feel coming here to a railway that's got so much lore behind it? Because is it your first time here or have you been here before?
I've been here before. I came here a very long time ago in 2011. And that was actually a really eye-opening experience for me. Because I'd never been to the UK. That was the first time. I came in November and the railway was closed then. But my grandma really wanted me to see the engines and all that. So she made some phone calls. They got us in. I saw all the engines up close in the shed. Seeing that and then coming out here and being on the actual railway with friends that I know, it's almost surreal in a way, but it's also very what's the word, completes the picture and it's very satisfying.
Yes, it's satisfying.
Fulfilling, yeah.
Max, when was your first time at the railway?
I came in 2013 and I think I've been back every year since. I'm a volunteer here now and I'd highly recommend anyone to go and volunteer at their local Heritage Centre or Heritage Railway because it's so much fun, there is a lot to it. As you're saying, the Titfield Thunderbolt is based on the stories that happened here. Last week I was literally down in near Bath exploring the route of the Titfield Thunderbolt because of this railway, and yeah, there's so much to it. It's never ending. It's a lifelong, generational thing. So many volunteers here. They're fathers, grandparents volunteered. Yeah, I'm not going to stop anytime soon.
Because you volunteer here, right, as well?
Yeah,
Exactly. You become an active volunteer at the railway because, I guess, the Sodor connection.
Exactly, yeah. I came here because of the Thomas connections, their Sodor and everything, and stayed because of the real law and everything, I suppose. Well, Sodor's real, of course, but, you know, yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
I must say, if anyone watching this is thinking, oh, I'd like to meet some more like Sodor fans but where I volunteer, this is the place to do it, honestly. This is the railway to come to because there is a hardcore team of people, of friends who come here because of Sodor, right? And stick together and you volunteer on the railway. And that's what I love, keeping that story alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just play trains. Now, again, being here today for you, you've come quite a long way from quite a long journey. How do you feel though when you see other people whom you might not have seen before, or you see people today that you recognise from online for the first time?
Yeah, there's been all sorts of people, familiar faces seen before. It's like, oh, hi, like there's not been any time in between. And then people that I've known online for years, like first time meeting you in person.
Yeah.
And
we've known each other forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just immediately with any friendship, you know, you have to have some sort of common ground, some common connection. We all have that from being here anyway. So, yeah, it's easy to make friends as well on a railway.
Yeah, totally. I have met so many people for the first time today. So many people like come up and recognize me, and it's a little like you feel like a little like a celebrity almost. But I feel like I've made so many like actual friends today too. Like people like, oh, we're definitely gonna like talk again after this, like on Discord or something. Yeah. So it's pretty nice coming here and knowing you're going home with some new friends for sure.
That's a lovely thing, because when I was in my teens, I suppose, we had the internet when I was age 18. The internet arrived via a little modem that clicked and beeped. Because before then, fandoms were geographic based quite a lot of the time, right? But now you've got a global fandom that unites them together. Well, we're going to lose the signal now if you leave, bring Glasgow through. But I want to thank you, Nick and Max, Terry, 55 Stepney, and you, the unlucky Doug. Thank you all for watching this, and thank you both so much for being part of this. And we'll talk to you, I'm sure, at the top end of the line. So thank you very much.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.